In this lesson, we will block in the follow-through to our heroine's counterattack. So we left off on frame 22, and here she needs to start spinning around. By the end of her animation, she would have spun 360 degrees. So we're working on that transition right now. And before we get started on that, I'd like to point out I made a few slight modifications to her pose. On 20, I've made sure that the ball of the foot no longer was up, simply because she has now left the floor. So there's no pressure. I've also brought the left arm up a bit higher to exaggerate the pose for a stronger silhouette. Alright, so let's go ahead and move back to 22. We'll grab her center of gravity and we could start to spin that around the z-axis. Great. I'll also start to adjust the other axes and the y and x to slant her back a bit. Great. Now at this point we can go to the chest control. We'll have that twist around. Also rotate it up in the Y and bring her back in the X. So we want some nice pulling from the torso as she spins around. And we want to make sure the follow through is very clear. Now she's a bit off balance here, but keep in mind that at this point the left leg is actually going to get thrown back and plant. So let's go ahead and tweak the leg. I'll go ahead and rotate the ankle so that the toe touches the floor. Okay, great. I'll also want to bring her down a bit more. So she's going back into a squash state. So the frame before we have stretch, and then she goes back to squash when she lands. Okay. I'll just go through and start to tweak the pose a bit more, making sure that she keeps her balance. For the right foot, let's go ahead and have that plant. So after rotating the ankle, we can go ahead and translate the leg up and over, and then we can start to adjust the knees. That left knee definitely needs some work, and so does the right, but not as much. We'll just go ahead and bring that in some. All right. So the pose is definitely getting there. I'd almost like to lower the left ankle a bit more. It might be a bit nitpicky of me, but just want to make sure that the pose is decent enough so that when we smooth things out, we don't have much to rework. Okay, let's go ahead and start to work on the sword arm, and then we can refine the entire pose afterwards. So remember, there's follow through here, so we can have the sword arm kind of swing around. I'll grab the elbow, bring that over. And then what about the wrist? Well, for follow through, we can have that kind of drag by rotating that back some. Go ahead and bring this up. Right now we're on frame 23 instead of 22, so I'll go ahead and lock this pose down. Okay, great. Then I'll delete 22 and bring 23 over. All right, so taking a look at this pose, I'd say it's just about there. What I'm doing right now is checking 20 and 22, just making sure that she's spun around enough for this next pose to look convincing. Almost seems as if we can spin around a bit more. So we'll grab the center of gravity control and do that. Just rotate her a bit more, the z-axis. I'd like to spin the right ankle a bit more as well, and then bring in the knee. As for her torso, I'd say she's leaned too far back, so I'll just go ahead and rotate her forward a bit from the center of gravity, and then kind of translate her back a bit using the chest control. All right, great. Let's go ahead and extend this arm. It should still be extended as it swings through. I'll rotate the blade back. I've brought the arm over because what we don't want is for it to appear to just kind of pause there as we play the animation back. And right now it's still kind of doing that. So I'll go ahead and fix this by just rotating the wrist away from the villainess. We want a slight drag, but not as much as what we previously had. All right, great. So how about the left arm? Let's go ahead and bend that in and bring it back. I'll grab the elbow and also bring that back. And then we'll go ahead and rotate the wrist up. Now she is very a feminine disposition. Almost as if she's a very classy fighter. Okay, I'll go ahead and tweak the shoulder. We're just about done with this pose. Let's take a look. So she spins around. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and work on the next pose, which is her spinning nearly 360 degrees. And that's going to happen just a few frames after on frame 24. So again, we'll grab the center of gravity and just spin her. Great. Now we can start to adjust the legs. I'll go to the left leg and spin that around. Make sure that it plants. We'll bring the knee around. And we'll also want to translate her forward now. Let's also tweak the right leg. We'll just need to go ahead and make sure the ankle spins around here on 24. And then we'll adjust the knee. Sometimes you'll have poses that will almost make you want to rush to fix them. And this is one of those poses where we have to animate an extreme. And as we do that, initially it starts to look pretty drastic, but in no time at all we can get exactly what we want. I'll start to have the body lean forward now, just rotating her forward in the x-axis. And then we'll fix the curvature of the spine by grabbing the chest control, just rotating that forward in the direction she will settle in. Now we have a few choices when we start to get to the very end. We could either have her look back at the villainess, or if she is very, very high-minded, very skillful, she might just look forward because she already knows that she's won this fight. There's no need to look back. So I'm going to go ahead and take option B of her just looking forward. I won't have her look forward just yet. I'm going to go ahead and have the head just rotate down, and then by the end, we can have her head rotate up. Almost as if she is thinking about the attack that she's just made, and then by the end, she would then think about her next target. All right, great. So let's go ahead and work on the sword arm. That just needs to swing around on 24. So I'll go ahead and grab that and bring that over. Then we can adjust the wrist. Remember follow through, so we want the wrist to actually be brought back. Then I'll grab the elbow control and swing that around. And then fix the orientation of the wrist. Great, just about there. Probably want the sword to pull back a bit more. We will want to check the arc of the sword as it swings around, making sure that that is also correct. Very important principle of animation that needs to exist in every aspect of our work. Even for robotic types of characters, they should still have some sort of arc in their movement. Even though it's very subtle, it still needs to be present. Otherwise, things can look very unnatural fast. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab the left arm and just translate that down and start to fix the wrist. Just pointing that forward and angling the palm so it's faced towards the floor at an angle. And then we can go ahead and bring the elbow down. Great. It's looking very nice. And now at this point, we can go ahead and take a look at the shoulders, make sure that they are posed properly. And there we have it. That looks nice. I might go to the right foot and go ahead and rotate the ball control up so that the ankle is more in a comfortable position. So it's not broken. That would be trouble. And there we have it. So take a look at that. We have managed to animate follow through after the counterattack, and things are looking very nice. And we just have one more pose to block in, and then after we're finished with that, we could then lock down each of these poses and then move right to our polish pass. So we're just about there.